So having them off is a relief, honestly.
Tonight on NewsWatch Ole Miss, masks are optional on campus for the first time in 2 years. We'll have more reactions from campus coming up.
As Mississippi prepares to start its medical marijuana program, some local businesses are thinking about opening up dispensaries. We'll hear from some of those businesses coming up.
And the fire at a nuclear plant in Ukraine is out, but the fighting continues to ramp up. The latest details on Russia's invasion of Ukraine are straight ahead. NewsWatch Ole Miss starts now.
Good evening and welcome to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Kennedy Cooper.
And I'm Gavin Norton. CBS's 48 Hours will highlight the life and tragic death of former Ole Miss student Allie Costal. The special program is titled What Allie Costal Didn't Know and will focus on the digital trail investigators followed after her death to track down Costal's killer. Host Michelle Miller also hopes to raise awareness and questions about maybe some missed warning signs in relationships and ultimately see whether or not Costal's August 2019 murder could have been prevented. The special is set to air on CBS and on Paramount Plus tomorrow at 9 p.m. Central Time.
This week right here in Lafayette County, 21 members of the Simon City Royals were arrested by federal officers on murder, kidnapping, fraud, and drug trafficking charges. The Simon City Royals are a Chicago-based gang that has spread across the country with heavy presence here in the Magnolia State.
In classrooms across campus, teachers and students are seeing each other's entire faces for the first time in 2 years. NewsWatch reporter Terrigan Dixon went out to gauge how members of the Ole Miss community feel about the lifted mask mandate.
The majority of students are glad that the mandate is lifted.
I'm from France, so we've been wearing those masks everywhere since 2020. So having them off is a relief, honestly.
I think it is a great step, honestly. I am super happy.
It's kind of nice, like not having to have the mask every day in school.
For seniors, it's kind of glad to have that sense of normalcy back as we get our last few months of college in. And it feels great just walking around as if, with no masks on.
Although face coverings are no longer required in indoor buildings, they are still mandatory in healthcare settings and university transit services such as the Outbus.
But many students are choosing to continue wearing their mask everywhere on campus.
In all my classes, everyone is like hacking and coughing and stuff. And I just feel like it's kind of unsafe because we're also sitting so close together.
With spring break around the corner, some students decided to continue wearing a mask to ensure a smooth trip.
For me personally, I do plan on traveling for spring break, but in order for me to go on my trip, I need a negative COVID test. So it's just like, that's the reason I still have to wear my mask.
While others are concerned about how the campus will be impacted upon return.
We're about to go on spring break and parties and stuff like that, and then we're going to come back with traveling, and it's just going to spread even more.
The university will continue to monitor COVID data and adjust protocols as needed. Terrigan Dixon, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
With masks gone, cases remain low on campus. There are currently 5 active confirmed coronavirus cases, 1 student and 4 staff members across the Magnolia State. The Mississippi State Department of Health reported 222 new coronavirus cases today, back down from the midweek spike.
And an anti-critical race theory bill passed through the Mississippi House of Representatives. This despite every black representative voting against the bill. The bill in question would remove the examination of systemic racism's impact on the nation in classrooms throughout the state. Because critical race theory is not taught in the K-12 curriculum currently, this change would only affect the state's universities. Since it is such a minor change, many who oppose the bill called it out as just a Republican checkbox being checked off. The bill passed in a 75-43 vote with just 3 white members joining all the black lawmakers voting against it. The bill now goes to Governor Reeves. Reeves has made it clear in the past that preventing the teaching of critical race theory is a top priority.
On Wednesday, March 9th, a panel discussion of the intersection of critical race theory and Mississippi civil rights education will be led by fellow and former CBS White House correspondent Randall Pinkston. The topic of the discussion centers around the anti-critical race theory bill and how the bill may affect the way civil rights history is taught in the state. Pinkston will be joined by Dr. Robert Luckett, Director of the Margaret Walker Center at Jackson State University, and Charles Overby.
A bill requiring therapy for minors who torture animals has died in the Mississippi House of Representatives. The bill in question, deemed Buddy's Law, would have required psychological evaluations, counseling, or treatments for children who torture domesticated cats and dogs. The bill came after Buddy the dog was nearly burned to death by a 12-year-old in Tate County last year. Buddy is now out of the hospital after a 10-month stay, but the bill is no longer being discussed in the House. Some representatives are calling for the bill to be rediscussed, but there are currently no updates on whether or not Buddy's Law will be resuscitated.
The wheels are beginning to turn in Mississippi's medical marijuana program. Governor Tate Reeves signed a medical marijuana bill in February after a year-plus debate and objection from lawmakers. Growers are now buying properties in the state to hit the ground running. Company Good Day Farm, based in Arkansas, recently purchased property in Lafayette County. The Lafayette County Board of Supervisors is hosting a meeting on Monday to discuss opting out options for the medical marijuana law. This would force Good Day Farm and other growers to move to a new area.
And while Good Day Farms looks to grow marijuana in the Oxford area, other businesses are looking to distribute it. NewsWatch reporter Evan A. Garcia went to find out if local CBD shops plan to apply for a license. Apologies for those technical difficulties. The distribution licenses that I was just talking about can take up to 6 months to approve, but officials expect the program to be
eligible for medical
at the end of the year.
If you've been in the
are getting ready to apply for licenses. Owner of Hempfield CBD, Tony Badagan, says he is ready to start the process.
If we were able to open a dispensary now, we would definitely, we're prepared. We're very well prepared.
Badagan says the process may take a while because the state has to open applications.
Even if we open a dispensary tomorrow, it's not like we can start selling cannabis to the patients the day after tomorrow. They still have to apply, go see doctors, and actually be recommended for cannabis before they can even start purchasing.
Your CBD store associate, Sarah Baker, says medical marijuana will benefit those in the community.
It's just absolutely a great thing because honestly there's so many people who have so many ailments and they are going to prescription meds that are not exactly helping them.
It may not be within the next few months, but local CBD stores are expecting to open dispensaries near the end of 2022. For NewsWatch, Ivone Garcia.
If you've been in the parking garage on the square lately, you may be wondering about the cones on the first level. Repairs will start next week to fix cracking in the concrete. According to Director of Parking Matt Davis, city officials discovered concrete crackling and peeling on the column of the garage's first floor. Officials did not give a timeline for the completion of the project.
And alumni are returning to town this weekend in a special celebration. The Black Alumni Reunion is back, and it began yesterday. The event happens once every 3 years and is a way for alumni to come back together and to network with current students. NewsWatch will be covering the action alongside the Daily Mississippian, so stay tuned next week for more coverage. You can find the full calendar of events at OleMissAlumni.com.
The world avoided a near nuclear disaster last night when the world's largest nuclear power plant caught fire during a Russian attack. The latest on the conflict is coming up. But first, here's a look at your current conditions.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
America, land of the free. It's at the core of who we are. Freedom. The freedom to live without fear, to drive through all 50 states, to sleep safely in our own beds, the freedom to jog where we please, to watch birds in the park, to wear a hoodie, the freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because no matter your religion, gender, disability, age, race, all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Russia continues to ramp up its aggression in Ukraine with the use of heavy artillery that NATO says is banned. CNN's Isabel Rosales has the latest details on the conflict.
Worldwide alarm as Russian forces attacked Europe's largest nuclear plant on Thursday, according to Ukrainian nuclear officials.
The world narrowly averted a nuclear catastrophe last night.
A fire at a nearby building has been extinguished, and there doesn't appear to be any radioactive leakage. The facility remains under Russian control, with plant managers working at gunpoint.
The Kremlin should immediately cease all attacks around Ukrainian nuclear facilities and allow civilian personnel to do their work to ensure the facility's safety.
This new video shows the aftermath of a Russian strike to an apartment building north of the capital city of Kyiv. To the southeast in Mariupol, no water, no power after Russian attacks. Ukrainians in Odessa form a human chain, filling up sandbags to protect their city. Meanwhile, the head of NATO accusing Russia of using widely banned cluster bombs.
What we see is heinous. It's a brutality. It's killing of civilians we haven't seen since the Second World War in Europe.
At home, the Biden administration is disputing criticism from lawmakers that it's not sharing battlefield intelligence fast enough. U.S. officials insist they are sharing intelligence with Ukraine at a frenetic pace.
We have been providing a historic amount of security assistance.
In Washington, Isabel Rosales.
Despite popular claims, Russia denies that it started the fire at the nuclear plant. This weekend, Russia and Ukraine are expected to have a third round of talks. Ukrainian officials have been disappointed by the talks so far, but the countries did agree to humanitarian corridors for civilians just earlier this week.
As the United States continues to update its response to the Russian-Ukraine crisis, the Biden administration is preparing to send a top official to Europe. The White House announced today that Vice President Kamala Harris will take a trip to Poland and Romania next week from Wednesday to Friday. She will meet with the leaders of both countries to coordinate a response to Russia aggression and determine how the United States can provide more help to Ukraine.
Back at home, the U.S. Supreme Court has upheld the death sentence of Boston Marathon bomber Dzhokhar Tsarnaev. Today's ruling was 6-3 along conservative liberal lines. Tsarnaev is one of the two brothers responsible for the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing, which led to the deaths of 3 spectators and a police officer. His older brother died in a gunfight with police. The ruling reversed a federal appeals court decision that had wiped away the death sentence for Tsarnaev and had ordered a new penalty-phase trial. The lower court saying the trial court made mistakes by excluding certain evidence that might have helped Tsarnaev's case.
Gas prices haven't been high in nearly a decade. The national average price for a gallon rose $3.84. overnight saw the highest price spike since Hurricane Katrina in 2005. There's no end in sight to the rising prices, largely due to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Officials expect that national average to top $4 per gallon in the coming weeks, a price that 9 states are already paying.
If you're looking to get Disney Plus, but maybe hoping to save some cash, an ad-supported tier of the popular streaming platform is in the works. It will be one of the subscription options available to consumers later this year, but an exact date or what price and package will look like are still to be revealed. Disney says that it sees the ad tier as a building block in the company's goal of reaching at least 230 million long-term subscribers over the next 2 years. Disney Plus is sitting at 130 million subscribers right now.
Coming up in sports, Coach Yo and the women's basketball team knocked off the Florida Gators in the quarterfinals of the SEC tournament earlier today. And the Rebel softball team is gearing up for the Ole Miss Classic this weekend. I'll have that and more up in sports next.
Disaster tips from the objects left behind.
My home wasn't insured, but you can check your insurance policy now to make sure you're covered. Oh.
My savings are lost, but you can put money aside and plan for unexpected disaster costs.
We're lost forever, but you can scan important documents now so they survive.
Whoa. For more tips on how to prepare, visit ready.gov.
On October 15, 2017, 2 words changed the course of history. The words we wrote that day are a part of a longer and even more powerful history.
The wounds become scars.
Things are changing. We really need everyone's voices.
Today, we all have a chance to write another chapter, powered by everyday activism as simple as joining a march or reading a book, written to a permanent archive on a public blockchain.
Because it takes a sea of us coming forward to demand change.
Because no matter who you are, you can act too. The end of sexual violence begins with this next act.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
We scored? Yeah, we scored. We're going to the playoffs. I can't believe I missed that. Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone. I should take your phone away. No. I'll call for a ride. Wait, why does my face look like that?
Starting things off on the hardwood in Nashville, Coach Yo and the women's basketball team wrestled the Gators earlier today and came out with a 70-60 win. The Rebels entered the match with a 10 SEC win, while the Gators entered the match with 21-9 overall record. Offensively for the Rebels, Shakira Austin dominated the floor. The transfer from Maryland shot 10 for 16 from the floor and cleaned the glass with 13 rebounds. This win puts the Rebels on the hardwood against a South Carolina opponent they are all too familiar with this season. Tip-off is set for tomorrow at 4 p.m. on the SEC Network. Keeping it on the hardwood, the Ole Miss men's basketball team is set to host Vanderbilt tomorrow while having their annual senior day. The Rebs are honoring seniors Jarkel Joyner, John McBride, and Niger Brooks. Tomorrow's game will mark the and 26th overall meeting between the Rebs and the Commodores, with Vandy leading at 77 and 48 overall, following the Rebels at 34 and 25 overall. Vandy enters the match with a conference win over number 25 seed LSU. Tip-off is set for tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central on the SEC Network. Swinging things over to the Diamond, the Ole Miss men's basketball team is on the road for the first time this season to face the University of Central Florida tonight. The Rebs entered the three-day game weekend matchup ranked as the number 2 seed, holding an 8-0 record, following UCF at 7-1 overall. The 8-game winning streak is the best the Rebs have started their season since 2018. Last season, the Rebs played UCF in their 3-game series as UCF finished with 2 wins at the Swayze Field. The Rebs are hoping for a comeback this weekend in Florida. First pitches are set tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central and 11 a.m. Central Sunday on ESPN. Swinging things over to the softball field, after playing their first 16 games on the road this season, Ole Miss softball is back in Oxford to host the Ole Miss Classic this weekend. The Rebs will host St. Louis, Sanford, and Western Kentucky for the Classic. Ole Miss enters the series with a 4-1 record and pick at 7-4 win over SEMO Wednesday night to move to 13-4, making this the best season to start since 2017. The Rebs are picked 9th in 2022 preseason. Hitting the gridiron yesterday, 2 former Rebel football players hit the gridiron again to showcase their skills at the NFL Combine. Dontario Drummond lit up on the field as he clocked a 4.61 in the 4-yard dash after his first attempt and 4.65 on the second attempt. Former Rebel wipeout Braylon Sanders also participated in the 40-yard dash competition as he clocked a 4.42 in his first attempt. Sanders was ranked the 17th fastest wide receiver of the day. Be sure to keep an eye out on the Combine today as Rebel running backs Jaron Ely and Snoop Connor participates in on drills today. That's all I got for sports. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at @Rebel_Watch for the latest sports updates.
Thanks, Cameron. Well, tonight is the perfect night to put down your phone, turn off your computer, and relax. We'll tell you why coming up next on NewsWatch.
You told me not to talk to strangers. You told me not to cross the street without looking both ways.
You told me not to touch the stove.
You told me not to do drugs. You told me not to drink and drive.
You gave me so many messages about how to stay safe. Why didn't you keep me safe by properly storing your gun?
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
You want peanut butter? We need to hurry. You're late. You need to finish, please. I gotta get him changed. Okay.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Hey, let's check out this park.
Oh, wow, that's really cool. To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
Get ready to spend a full day unplugging from technology. The National Day of Unplugging runs sundown to sundown from today to Saturday. Here's the idea. Unplug from your smartphones, your TVs, and other screens, and make some space for different things. Maybe you can read a physical book, or maybe even a newspaper. Do you remember those?
Have a conversation uninterrupted by technology. Go for a hike, clean out your closets. It's up to you. It may feel strange to leave your phone at home, but give it a try. Once you get back on technology, you can post about your experience with the social media hashtag National Day of Unplugging.
All right, Kennedy, the clock's ticking. We got like 30 minutes until sundown. We need to make a decision. Are we going to be participating in the National Day of Unplugging?
Personally, I'm not. I mean, I have TV shows to watch on Fridays, but I mean, I encourage others to do that.
The Friday night is a pretty big TV slot. If you're not watching us, there's a lot that you guys could be watching on TV right now. I'm not going to partake either, but I know I'm going to be very excited to see all those hashtags come in of probably the dozens of people nationwide that did participate.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, that's all we have for tonight. For NewsWatch Ole Miss, I'm Gavin Norton.
And I'm Kennedy Cooper. You can find us on social media at NewsWatch Ole Miss for the latest updates on Ole Miss and beyond. Thank you and good night.